We could be affected by that. And if you're not aware, Simi is an Indian word, Chumash Indian, for windy. So it is a windy valley.
But look how close that is to the 14.
That's exactly
they haven't been able to close the 14 yet, and look at just how busy that is. I can see the southbound lanes are backed up at least a mile, but I just want to keep the camera on the fire so you can see the efforts. We've seen at least 2 water-dropping helicopters coming in. They're refueling at a reservoir just southeast of here, not more than maybe 5 miles top. So thankfully they can refuel and just hit it and continuously continue that process. But look at this. This is what they're concerned about. Is they have a lot of the area burned out, and some of that by the 14 is burned out, but then there's a ton of unburned brush in this area for the Soledad fire that the firefighters have to worry about. And I just want to punch in and show you how close these ground crews are to these fires, and look at the wind. I mean, that is almost blowing flames directly right in the face of those firefighters there. So this is a very active firefight right off the 14, right just north of Soledad Canyon here at the Soledad fire. I'll send it back down to you guys.
And Josh, can you give us any indication if there are any structures nearby in the area, or at this point are the flames really isolated here towards the 14 freeway?
Well, that's what it looks like now. So I'll zoom out and take another look. We saw some trailers, which we saw a couple trailers here. You see an RV there, but you see the just vast amount of fire vehicles pouring into this fire just to get ground crews on this thing. Look at that. And oh my goodness, look at the winds. That is how quickly this is happening. Is you can't predict anything. Look at that. The water drop from the helicopter right there. This is becoming an incredibly active fire with these winds. We were getting winds of at least 40 miles an hour up here, so you can just see how sideways that fire's laying down. So it's tough to say if any structures are immediately threatened in this area, but with how the winds are going, it's tough to know where this fire could be taken. So let me zoom out here. You just saw 2 water drops go on. I'll zoom out and show you on this side. It doesn't look like there's too many structures, but right across the road here, you have some trailers and maybe some other buildings on the other side of Lang Station Road, but not too close yet with the way the winds are blowing. It's just contained to this little section, and thankfully in between this fire and those structures seems to be a decent amount of dirt and very light vegetation. You see a little bit there, but it's spread out.
Yeah, it looks as if fire crews are hammering this one. That's a good thing. But you mentioned the winds here, Josh. Let's bring in meteorologist Anthony Yanis to kind of give us conditions in this area right now.
It's good there's not a lot of fuel here, because this is by far the strongest winds that are going on right now. Just to the north of the fire, 41-mile-per-hour gusts, constant winds at 21 miles per hour, slightly off to the west of the fire, 34-mile-per-hour gusts and constant winds of 19 miles per hour. Of course, we know how dry it is with the humidity 6 to 7%, but it is really windy in this.
Copy. We'll cancel the additional order.
Earlier, we watched as the community sprung into action. These were more than 80 people who were in need of medical assistance, a lot of them in wheelchairs.
This concrete wall here, but this vinyl kind of fencing area that they use to keep
near the Sierra exit. And as our cameras were rolling, this happened. Look at this big rig slowly inching down the roadway, and you can see how the wind is tossing it from side to side, going very slowly so it doesn't get tipped over. That driver eventually made it to safety, but it's a miracle that tractor trailer didn't flip over.
These hurricane-force winds and extremely dry conditions means more people are without power today.
Utilities are shutting off electricity to high-risk areas, including parts of Santa Clarita. Eyewitness News reporter Rob Hayes is live in Santa Clarita with more on this story. Rob?
Yeah, the wind is still gusting here in Santa Clarita, and the power is off in parts of it. Where we are right now along Sierra Highway, you can see the traffic signals are depowered right now. Traffic is backing up because each car has to come to a stop here. Across the way in the strip mall over there, you'll see businesses are closed because they have no power. SoCal Edison turning off power to more than 70,000 customers.
A lot of things struggle in a strong wind. Trees, street signs,
and business.
A huge impact on us financially.
Will Mann will tell you it's hard.
We talked about your message for them. I mean, what do you want to say to these guys?
No, they're awesome. They were here within 4 or 5 minutes, and 3 helicopters dropping water, and just fantastic. Can't thank them enough for being so quick.
Thank you so much for chatting with us, letting us see how close it got here. And we do want to kind of give you the look around that they've been kind enough to let us see. This is the area where they think it possibly started in the backyard, in that shed, their neighbor's yard, where it was blackened and burned and then kind of spread with those winds that pushed it west and south of their home. And again, it was such a close call for the
I've been briefed, another individual feeling the same way on that engine.
Medic 497, respond to second ambulance, no code to L person at station 44, 1050 Country Club Drive, command 5. That's negative, we have no information.
Branch 1 under band. Venture operate. Did you get an update on the patient's condition?
And I have the public information officer for Ventura County Fire, and Mike DeForge. What is the plan of attack? We've noticed that there is so much manpower up in the hills, but these winds, man, they are just pretty intense.
Yes, they present tremendous challenge to firefighters and fire operations. So this is one of the areas we were very concerned with, the 23. We didn't want it to get over the freeway. It got over a little bit, so we were able to knock it down using aerial aircraft, as well as backed up with firefighters on the ground. So now it's going to become a race to extinguish all the hotspots before anything can get out. So you can see behind me, they are actively putting in the hand line, separating the burnt material from the unburned material, and then backing it up with hose lines to go in there and extinguish any hot spots, any material that could get blown out into an area that hasn't had any ignition, and then create problems for us in the future.
And I've noticed a lot of mutual aid. We were on Tierra Rajada earlier, a lot of forces around this area that had to be rescued, and then I know different side of the 23 freeway, there were some homes that were evacuated. How exhausting is this for all of the firefighters? I've noticed LA County is out here, Ventura County, Santa Barbara, so many people on the ground.
Yeah, you know, it's a calling though, so we enjoy our work, we enjoy helping out other people, but like you said, it can be exhausting work. A lot of these firefighters here have come straight from the Getty fire, from one fire to another, and if there's another fire that breaks out after that, we'll be going there too. So it's the name of the game, it's part of the business, and it's a privilege to do it.
And how close are you to containment for this one? Are you pretty far away? I heard it's more than 1,000 acres so far.
We're pretty far away from it. We're calling it 1,500 acres right now. 0% containment.
1550 Alpha copy. You advise back channel for branch 2. V-Fire 26, it's V-Fire 26. 50 Alpha. Medic 453. That's 453, go ahead. Richard, we can handle. You start 154, cancel. You start 154, copies, cancel, thank you.
All right, we want to take you back out to that breaking news in the Santa Clarita area, keeping a close eye there on the Soledad fire just off the 14 freeway. Josh Kuzo live over the scene for us in News Chapter 4 Alpha. Josh?
Hey guys, it's night and day from what we showed you on the last, when we last checked in. Take a look at this. Take a look at the absolute effort here put in by the fire crews, because there is no active fire here. When we last showed you this, there was 20 to 30 feet of flames on some of this brush, but thankfully it ran out of fuel here in the Soledad Canyon area at the 14. So thankfully this scene appears to be wrapped up as they start to get containment on this Soledad fire.
It is great news, Josh. We want to go back now to the Easy Fire, and NBC4's Patrick Healy has been on this one just about since the beginning. He's at the Reagan Presidential Library.
That's right, watching firefighters working to keep that fire away, and they've done a great job at it. Patrick.
They certainly have, Carolyn and Michael, and I have to tell you, never before have we covered a brush fire, a wildfire beneath the wingspan of Air Force One. But such is the day this has been. And as it turns out, the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library and Museum had this extraordinary view of the Easy Fire as it exploded this morning and raced south from Tierra Rajada, heading straight towards the Air Force One pavilion. And, of course, the downside of having that great view is it meant that this pavilion and the entire library and museum were right in the middle of the line of fire. We're fortunate enough to have the library's curator, Randall Swan. I'm sorry, Randall.
Notice how cold it is. Big Bear is at 41, 39 degrees at Wrightwood. So there's some downslope compressional heating, but when you start at 39 degrees, even warming over 5 degrees Fahrenheit per 1,000 feet of descent, that still leaves you on at 76 degrees downtown LA. So this is a mild to cool Santa Ana wind event. Notice downtown also, you don't really get those winds out of the canyon, so not a problem at all downtown. 72 at Burbank, winds are out of the northeast. Stronger winds can be seen up through Simi Valley tonight. Here's what it looks like. That big low that is producing 19 over Denver is tracking to the east. That's the good news, as high pressure will begin to weaken tomorrow afternoon. But tonight, it's still going to blow through those canyon passes. It's only 47 degrees over at Las Vegas at this hour. So let's start tonight at 7 o'clock and look at the wind conditions. As you'll notice, from Pasadena to downtown Los Angeles.
Showed Tanker 914 and Bravo 71 off or back to San Bernardino for a hold, 25 minutes, 5 minutes.
Package 125. Inbound station 35 for cover.
Love it. All right, let me just point out that this is an example of a successful venture. We're already seeing a lot of the resource being let go from this area, and we just watched as the ground crew that was in this little gully making sure there were no more hot spots. They just walked out. We're watching them roll up the hoses. So yay, this one is not really a threat so much anymore. They're in that quote-unquote mopping up stage, but it looks as if they're going to be wrapped that up as well. Meantime, take a look at what it looked like earlier this afternoon. That was when there were plenty of fire engines and units out here from both LA County and Orange County, and it didn't take long at all for them to get at least a bit of a control over the situation, because they took those helicopters. They had a constant assault, plenty of water drops, and that really did give them the upper hand. That's despite the fact that we have these gusting winds, which are of concern for sure until this wind event finally dies down. Take a listen to what Captain Holliday has to say about the
55 is available sector. You can release the squad.
So that's a spot you want to definitely avoid here. All right, here's your drive times now. Planet.
Down power line, 908J Avenue, crest of Eileen, command 5.
Come see Korea like you've never seen it before. How beautiful is that? Here we go! Further to the west, the wind has definitely picked up again in the last.
Group 2, and we're looking for
51, headache, 4358, Cedardale Road, crest of Stagewood, command 8.
the presidential ambassador.
Here want to make sure that it doesn't get any further wet.
35 hazard investigation, 908J Avenue, command 5.
Ventura County, Air Tax 07, command 2.
EG Air Tax, go ahead for Ventura.
Air Tax 07 departing. Oh, en route to the EZ incident, ET 05 minutes.
Ventura, copy Air Tax 07, ET minutes to the EZ incident. EZ Air Tax Ventura.
Ventura, EZ Air Tax, copies direct.
Ventura.
Well, Ellen and David, right now, winds are blowing about 5 miles per hour, but earlier today, gusts were up to 45 miles per hour. And fortunately for the people who live here, that blew away all that brown, gunky stuff. But the smell of smoke, the gas, the vapors, and the particles, well, that's sticking around.
Engine 50, you
For the first time in her life, 4-day-old Charlotte Marie Town is outdoors, and the air is smoky.
Well, it's hectic in general, but I mean, especially dealing with all this, just trying to get her in and out as quickly as possible.
Wildfire smoke, most people don't realize it's a nasty, complex mixture. It's got a lot of carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, hydrocarbons, particulates.
Pulmonologist Dr. Ali Farouk says due to the nearby easy fire, he's seeing an increase in patient complaints.
It really affects and irritates the lungs, but it also affects the heart because it releases inflammatory mediators in the blood. So people with heart disease are also at risk. Children have developing lungs. They inhale more air per pound than an adult does, so they're at high risk as well for developing symptoms.
After a stressful start, Charlotte's parents are hoping the worst of her wildfire welcome into the world is over.
We've been here a week, so time to go home anyways, but with the fires and everything.
Yeah, do you smell the smoke?
Oh, totally.
Okay.
The second I take it out, yeah, it smells like a campfire.
And you can bet Charlotte is going to be staying indoors, and that's exactly what doctors want you to do. Stay inside, run your air purifiers if you have one, and don't vacuum because that will pick up all the fine particles, and you don't want that indoors. And also pick up an N95 mask if you're going to be in and around the areas near the fire. Live in Thousand Oaks, Denise Tador, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Thank you very much, Denise. Good advice. Up next, our breaking news coverage continues.
We'll go back live to our reporters on the ground and in the air as we monitor several fires burning in Southern California right now, putting homes in danger, shutting down busy freeways, and creating dangerous, smoky air quality everywhere.
And we can't stress enough, these red flag conditions are far from over. We'll have the very latest on this dangerous situation unfolding right now, next.
It's what you love. It's what you know. It's going to be a night to remember. It's time to play.
Engine 46, go ahead. Engine 46, you're clear quarters. Medic 422 abdominal pain, 1155 Fesby Avenue, Command 8. Engine 132, move up. Conversation 44. Echo on command. Easy Echo, go for Camarillo, Helibase. Medic 474 on no medical. At the bus stop, California, Victoria, Command 8. Easy Hoku, Camarillo, Helibase. Our only other Type 2 was 532, and they were down mechanical.